Du vet Moped att det här kommer att vara bara det lättaste och svåra caset tror jag för oss.
Tror du det?
Lättast är för att jag har nog aldrig varit så mer övertygad om att vår klient är oskyldig.
De är alltid oskyldiga.
Nej, minns du inte Shelley the Killer? Då var jag han skyldig. Vad han nu hette.
Men han var inte vår client.
Det var han ju. Nej, inte Shelley, men han som... Det var ju, visade sig att han hade ju mördat den där flickan.
Hours.
Ja, precis. Hette han väl.
Han var väl inte skyldig. Han hade väl anlitat The Killer.
Ja, han hade anlitat Shelley the Killer, men han hade väl gjort någonting, har jag för mig.
Nej, jag kommer inte ihåg.
Jag är nästan
Det
bombsäker.
är det jag menar, vi behöver en summering av casen.
Oh shit. Med tanke på att han visade sitt sanna jag till slut. Du vet, först var han den här försynta lilla grabben som åkte motorcykel, men sen så visade han sitt R över ögat och blev världens skurk.
Vänta, var det han? Wait a minute, nu måste vi... hej allihopa i chatten. Du kan väl ta och prata med dem som ska ta reda på det här.
Senare kollar
Vilket
alla...
spel var det? Är det i andra eller tredje spelet?
Jag tror det är andra spelet. Sista
Hours.
caset. Det är då Maja blir tillfångatagen av
Ja,
The
det är
Killer.
första Phoenix Wright 2 case.
Hur är det med er då? I chatten. Men som sagt, det svåraste med det här caset är att jag vet ju inte vad som har hänt. Vi har inga bevis knappt och vår klient kan inte ens prata engelska. Ska vi kolla court record medan jag väntar på dig? Ja precis, vi har lyric sheet, vi har investigation request, att vi inte får berätta någonting. Vi har ett postcard, vi har en pistol, vi har en brosch, ett mixerbord och sen en keyring.
Nathan Guard var det ju.
Nathan
Såklart.
Guard, ja.
Ja, inte Will Powers. Jag tänkte väl att Will Powers inte...
Nej, Will Powers, nej han var ju The Steel
Han
Samurai.
var... Ja, exakt. Ja, exakt.
Men han var ju med i det här caset. Han bjöd in oss till den där
Ja,
evenemanget. Där allt
ja
gick
exakt.
rätt
Det
där.
var han, jag tänkte att han var ju inte skyldig, men Nathan Guard var ju det.
Ja.
Eller han hade anlitat Shelley.
Ja, fast jag är nästan bombsäker på att han åkte dit för någonting. Kan det vara att hon protégén, det var en kvinna som tog livet av sig något år tidigare. Till hon, agenten till Hangard, vad fan hon hette. Hon som sen kom in senare i Case 1, tredje spelet, när det skulle vara en utställning med Majas och deras rötters grejer och skit. Med han Mask till Mask. Ja. Är du färdig eller
Ja.
kollar du någonting?
Nej.
Nej.
Ja, men den.
Då kan du väl få köra din tyska...
Men hoppade inte över början.
Jo, men det var bara the court is now in session.
Ja, han fattar. Jag vet inte hur man ska säga det namnet heller.
Nej, men jag skulle säga ungefär som mitt är ju Sarek egentligen. Så CH blir väl ett K, antar jag. Men det är inte säkert.
Ja, men med tysk brytning då. Vi säger arpeggio. Vänta, vad är arpeggio? Var det där som var arpeggio? Type of broken chord in which notes that compose a chord or individual sound in a progressing, rising or descending order. Okej, det var väl det vi funderade på igår också.
Ja. Förresten, hörs vi bra? Jag verkar fibbla lite med mina inställningar här. Eller ska jag höja oss?
Ja, det är Pixie of the Arpeggio. Måste alla ha smeknamn.
Japp.
Right, your style. Court is new session. The defense is ready, your honor.
Ja, du ska prata med dig själv idag.
Ja,
Du
som
är
alltid. För jag gör ju Sarik, jag gör alla karaktärer.
Shit.
Sarikson är igång. Så nej, okej. Very well prosecuted, Gavin. Ja, my opening statement, ja.
Nyss vaknade från en gubblur efter jobbet. Nu ska jag fixa något lite att käka. Ja, men det låter ju nice. Gubblur är alltid bra. Det hade jag behövt idag. Men jag kom hem alldeles för sent.
Actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you about. Yes? Are you going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease? What do you say to them? I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right? You'll only be kicking them when they're down. What are you talking about?
Förresten, jag var ju hälsade på farsan idag. På sjukhuset. Och tydligen, du vet han har ju åkt in och ut ur sjukhuset hela tiden. Haft pissiga värden, ingen kalcium, ingen salt, ingenting. Och nu har de tydligen kommit fram till att han har någon sorts typ av sepsis, heter det väl? Typ blodförgiftning.
Ja, blodförgiftning, ja.
Ja, som gör honom riktigt, riktigt dålig. Så nu, de vet inte hur de ska lösa det. Så de bara trycker igenom alla olika möjliga antibiotika och hoppas på att någonting kickar till. Ja, så vi får se.
I'm going to visit someone who's terminal. Det låter ingen bra.
Nej, men det löser sig.
Ja, det är Chief Justice's son. The Chief Justice. His son is afflicted with a most terrible disease. Doesn't have long, it seems. So I thought I'd go
jag
to...
höjer det ju.
Yes! I have to go pay him a visit.
Ja, varför inte då?
Thought saying something moving might be the order of today.
Why don't grown-ups ever just say
Och hur var det här
what's on their
relevant?
mind instead of pretending? Jag vet inte, det kommer bli relevant antar jag.
He's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for? In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly.
Okay.
Prosecutor Gavin opened a statement. Briefly. You're in luck here, Judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think. First, to review the victim in this case. Han 35 år, Jesus, jag har inte en bra framtid. Alltså, för en gång skulle så var det någon som såg väldigt mycket äldre ut.
Ja, men
Romain let do says 35.
du vet ju hur det är med de här spelen. Antingen ser de ju jätte unga ut, men det står att de är typ 30, eller så är de jätte gamla. Det är som Oldbag, vi fick aldrig reda på.
Han måste ha sett mycket skit med det där insjunkna ansiktet. En 35-åring. Stackarn.
Han var ju en manager.
Ja. Global manager for Diva Songsters Lamois. Because of that, Bloodlust due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. Är det hans Cause of Death alltså? Damn, jag trodde verkligen det skulle vara något annat han dog av.
Ja, vi får se.
This report has all the details. Court accepts this into evidence.
From a gunshot wound. Ja, titta. Det är lite synd.
45 caliber is quite large, isn't it? Direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet. Så vem fan var det som sköt?
Ja, de sa ju det att med tanke på rekylen så måste ju någon ha gjort illa armen åtminstone.
Ja, however the bullet struck him in his shoulder. Damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss that he could not be saved. Han dog alltså att han blev skjuten i axeln.
Ja.
Suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse considering.
Jag fick vi ett foto också.
2 shots were fired.
Fired.
Vänta, kolla autopsy-reporten.
Ja, vänta, jag skulle bara se om jag kunde vrida någonting, men det kunde vi inte.
Time elapsed between shooting and death currently under review.
Så det är någonstans mellan 9 och 9:30 då. Så vi ska väl hitta något hål där då.
Och det de säger är att de inte sköt, inte säkert att de sköt honom då.
Nej.
Han kan ha varit skjuten innan.
Precis.
One shot missed, the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder.
Men det är lite märkligt med tanke på att vi hörde ju 2 pistolskott, om de inte var inspelade då.
Ja. Both bullets were found in the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram.
Jag älskar de här diagrammen för de är ju så berusade.
This is where the bullet hit. I see, the court accepts this evidence.
Men hur funkar det? Nej, nu ska vi börja grotta i det direkt. Vad fan, fick vi inte den? Vad är det?
Den.
Eh,
You're talking about the 45 caliber revolver.
för om de står här och skjuter honom, hur kan då hålen vara här?
Men de säger att de sköt honom bakifrån. Så de är inte höger om det är hans like.
Att de såg här alltså?
Ja, exakt.
Mm.
Men det kommer antagligen inte vara så.
Då kan han lika gärna skjuta sig själv, för varför ligger pistolen här?
Ja, det är precis det jag tänker. Men varför skulle han skjuta sig själv i axeln?
Ja, det är för att det är väl bra, vet du det? Vet du det? Vad heter det? Ja, skitsamma.
Bra tidnings.
Ja men tänk dig i rubrikerna. Manager took a shot for his diva bla bla bla. Read all about it bla bla bla.
You must assume that the killer was adept at the weapons used.
Really?
Yeah, apparently weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it break every bone in his body. The defense should take more care in choosing examples. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. This dressing room has only one entrance, this door. That seemed to be the case, yes.
Jag håller på att pilla lite här så länge.
However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots.
He's talking about you and Emma, right?
Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty save for the victim's body, of course. But that's impossible.
Smack.
Exactly, this murder was impossible. For all but one person. One person. That is, of course,
Maki. Ja.
the defendant, Maki Tobai. Only this defendant could have committed a crime. But how? Och hur är han tränad med en pistol? Han är typ 1,30 lång.
Ja, han är inte
Quite
också typ
simple.
15 år gammal också.
The circumstances of the crimes. Jag kan kolla hur gammal, men nej, jag har inte kollat.
Nej, men... 14 dessutom.
Ja, alltså den där bilden.
Nu ser du, det är Andy Warhol.
Ser ut som en undercover filmstjärna från 50-talet. It's quite simple, the circumstances of the crimes make it clear. Yeah, very well, I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Please show the witness to the stand. Vänta, man ska vittna.
Emma antar jag. Ja.
Helvete.
Ska jag ta henne istället då, medan slipper du prata för dig själv?
Your name and profession, please. Ja.
Emma Sky, I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail at the concert forum last night.
Emma seems tired somehow. De har varit uppe och jobbat. Security concert, you say?
Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder.
No, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I mean, I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know.
Ja, han kan ju inte göra någonting.
I'm sure that makes her feel much better.
I want to hear about these bigger mistakes.
In any case, because you're on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered. We were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstance of that day and your discovery of the crime, please.
Alright. Ba-da-bum. Murderous circumstances. Okay. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at the prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard the shots. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. Det var väl fan, ja, det kanske är från konserten antar jag. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. Okay.
It was lucky that the detective was first on the scene.
But that door was the only way out of the room, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Fast de kan väl ha gömt sig någonstans?
Ja, vi kollade ju aldrig.
Nej, vi gick ju därifrån. How can they say that Maki did it?
Looks like we need a bit more information. Well, do we begin the cross-examination?
Jaha. Då kör vi den här fuskgrejen igen och sparar.
Är det fusk?
Nej, kanske inte. Får vi se. Vår bracelet verkar ju inte vara igång än så länge. Det är inte mörda hos security. Ja, men det vet vi, det stämmer ju. Fast det här är inte säkert, för vi träffar ju på den där killen med grön kappa hela tiden.
Kan vi
Det
presenta
är
honom?
kul.
We were let in though.
Det tror jag inte.
Nej.
Nej, han finns inte här. Och vi har ingenting där, nej. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you.
I gave Caroline special permission to be there. I want to see her again.
Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now.
Gee. Great.
Some other hangers on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off.
So no other outsiders were there then.
And then... Nähä? I heard shots. Ja, men vi kör på den också.
But we were having a chat when we heard the shots.
You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos.
Oh hey, no snacking in court. And you sure the shots came from the Moas room.
Man får inte äta snacks, men man får dricka en jävla massa kaffe tydligen. Om man ju tänker på han Godot.
Ja, men det är skillnad.
Man får till och med
Yes, absolutely.
man får till och med kasta kaffe i facet på
Ja.
defense attorneyn
Och
också.
piska får man ha.
Ja, just det. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, just keep it quiet. Kommer hon kasta den på oss? Ja. Kadonk!
Oh, thanks. So, how about it, Emma?
Åt han den? We were right there. Hard to be mistaken about that.
You said talk or eat, not both at the same time.
Oh, right, so after that, me and Mr. Lloyd there opened the dressing room door. Okay.
Rock?
Blaring, yes.
And you say rock, are you referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days?
This rock and roll music.
Och these days.
Mhm.
När utspelar sig det här på 60-talet?
Kanske.
That's right. We went into the dressing room. Music was blaring over the speaker on the wall.
The pipe sound from the stage into the backstage through speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage.
Did it have to be so loud? You don't listen to the Gavinas with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul.
Jaha, då måste det vibrera ganska kraftigt.
Always have the backstage monitors at full volume.
We walked into the room. The band was playing Guilt Love, I believe. Making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music playing. Then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi. Including myself.
Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. Okay.
How could you know something like that?
Ja, men alltså trycka av, eller avtrycken på den här. Jag vet inte riktigt. Eller man måste bryta sina armar. Om det är så illa som, om det är så illa som de hävdar.
Ja.
As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen. We know there was only one exit from the room. That door. That door, den här alltså. Eller dörren vi kom in igenom.
Nej, dörren vi kom in igenom.
The small window only opened a tiny crack. and I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility. The air vent.
But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly?
Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one could have fit through was a child.
A child.
Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed.
And all of the people involved with the concert. Only one is small enough to be considered a child. The defendant. The pixie of the arpeggio fitted up towards sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime. But that's just conjecture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was no other way out of that room. You were there, you should know her forehead.
Är forehead.
Och vi vet inte ens om han var där!
Nej,
Det här är just ett jättedåligt bevis. Ja, tack.
And there's another vital piece of evidence.
Evidence what?
Marks were found on the air vent grill. Traces that it had been recently been opened.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. And something else was found quite clearly. The defendant marked it by his fingerprints. Okej. Säger att han är oskyldig.
Order. That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, her forehead. What fairy tale does this suggest to you? Only one could pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven.
Doorway to heaven.
And that one is our pix.
Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it up in the audience.
Men
Ja.
det bevisar väl bara att han eventuellt har varit i rummet någon gång.
Och rört vid ventilationen, ja.
Och, ja. Inte att han var där när mordet begicks.
Nej.
Eller att han har skjutit den.
Nej, för det var väl ingen fingeravtryck på den här, så vitt jag vet. Nej.
Vi kollar då, tror jag.
Nej, men vadå? Vi får ju ingen valmöjlighet.
Nej, jag vet inte. Vi vet inte om det kanske är. Det kanske kommer senare. So this was his decisive evidence. Quite decisive indeed. Nej. No, the circumstances under which the body was found, I was there.
Har du nästan spelat alla spelen? Ja, det här är första i trilogin med Apollo Justice. Så vi har ju det här och 2 spel till kvar om. Sen har vi kört alla. Ja, vi började...
Nej, och sen har vi Chronicles kvar också. Det är väl också 3 spel. Och Miles Edgeworth, eller om det är del av Chronicles.
Jo, men det är ju bara till Switch än så länge, tror jag.
Aha.
Då måste jag ha ett capture card. Och sen har vi ju Dr. Layton, nej, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright som du tröttnade på.
Är det verkligen versus?
Jag tror den heter det.
Där.
An examination of the crime scene was enough to nail down the killer.
Sure, det är väl good reason. Vi har mycket kvar om vi säger så.
Ja.
Jag förstår inte priset var restmark.
Det
I'm
tar,
going to find out what it was.
det tar ju ganska många timmar att dra igenom dem också. Okej, då har vi... Den har vi inte...
The night of the murder was the night of the concert, ja.
Ja, that's right.
Ja, han plockar upp
Lite tyst.
Javier's manners.
Mhm.
What was the detective doing on security detail, I might ask? It was only a concert.
I saw my thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from the rock cards.
Prosecutor Gavin. I smelled something that day, you meant to say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall. Conspiracy? Well, isn't it obvious? My keys that all morning and all day was ruined. Meine Schlüssel. It's all because someone stole my keys.
Ja, men slange.
I couldn't ride my hog to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case.
Here he goes again.
There he goes about his hog again.
Mhm.
Isn't it possible to simply misplace them? Misplace them? Misplaced item just don't wander into a murder victim's hands on her own. Watch this, Prosecutor Gavin. If your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect.
Titta, nu jävlar. Åh herregud.
Love still acting anew. Atrochien is waiting for you.
He's singing something.
Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top?
Yep.
Killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was like a sailor, adrift on a sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. So I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task. I can accept that.
And I can.
Well, I can't. What do you... Oh, just that. I believe that's enough of that.
What do you mean time on their hands? Okay.
Prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who can possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive.
Men kan man inte ha skjutit genom fönstret då? Och sen slängt in pistolen?
Jo, man...
Precis som du vet Danganronpa
det var ju
3.
det de sa. Ja. Men den öppnade bara en liten bit.
Jo, men du kanske får in...
Men det känns ju viktigt att veta vart det här fönstret går.
Ja, det vet vi inte.
Nej. Ugh. Believe heard enough to determine our verdict. Even if I was in a hurry to make a hospital visit. I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, a criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough. Can't be over already. Very well, I believe this is finished. If the defense has no contradicted evidence.
Okej, nu ska vi hålla på och jävlas också.
Prosecution has presented our proof clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it better be clear and plain.
Yeah, Apollo, you got us on the ropes already. Better come up with something quick.
I know. Think what can get us out of this. We need evidence or a witness that can prove Mark is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that, Mr. Justice, do you have a contradicting proof that he can overturn the prosecution's case?
Är det nu vi ska presentera hon The Siren? För han hävdade ju att det var ju ett vittne.
If you do, you better tell us about it now. This is it, and so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. Court wants contradicting proof.
Kolla witness antar jag. För vi har ju inte något annat direkt.
I guess...
Vad skulle det annars vara?
Jag tänkte i så fall att det skulle vara pistoler, men vi har väl ingenstans där det explicit står att man måste vara tränad för att använda den.
Nej, det är bara någonting...
Det stod ju inte på den här.
Nej, det är någonting de bara har sagt.
Ja, exakt.
Jag tänker testa henne i alla fall. Får vi se.
Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there was no witnesses to this crime.
Jag kan ha fel.
Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely, I swear to my career as a prosecutor. And my millicent hit a song at the country, my love.
Here you go again.
That's too bad because there was a witness. Oh, really now? But if you come to possess knowledge, the prosecution clearly does not. Because I am the only one in the world who knows this. What's going on? I just talked to him. Oh, right, flashback.
Flashback, så skit i det här. Nu sa han The Siren.
Mhm. What? The victim shared this before he died? Perhaps he did and perhaps he did not. What do you mean by that? All we know is what her forehead says he said. It's not testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself. But it's the truth, he said it. I even told you about it. But apparently you ignored me completely. It's my policy for to investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job.
Ja, vi har vunnit över honom en gång.
That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you.
Ja,
Is witness of yours unknown to the prosecution? Hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty. Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is God for.
oh nej.
There's no backing out now. Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice. Lamua. Recall Mr. Toulouse's last words.
Toulouse. Toulouse. Ja, inte det här igen.
Okay. The siren. Aha, he meant the siren. That's right, the siren of the ballad. La Miroir. La Miroir was only on stage for the second set. And she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness. I see, well, Prosecutor Gavin. My claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime. Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Iman's cross-examination. Please show Lamois to the witness stand. Lamois will say nothing to the night of the murder. Not today though. Today we'll drive that story out of her no matter what it is.
Hade vi rätt eller inte? Jag är lite tveksam.
Jo, vi hade rätt. It's my distinct honor to welcome the siren of the ballad of Kosovo.
Nu får du köra lite.
You are too kind. I can speak English. Yes, I can. Though I am not very good. There is much I do not know. You speak so well. Have you spent time here before? Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language. Nor where I studied it.
Snacka skit kan man göra.
What does she mean? She doesn't know. I too thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. Other reason, of course. What's that? Nej, kom igen. Lamoya suffers from amnesia. Amnesia?
Men så lät ju inte igår när vi pratade med henne.
Lamoya is not my true name. Snälla säg till henne. Jätten. Remember någonting at the time before jag skrev in. Jag hade hoppats på att de skulle ha ett lättare namn.
Men det kommer den ta.
Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage.
Oh, she's even more mysterious than I thought.
As lauded singer Lamoa, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her thanks to her success. Yet I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress. I see. I care surprisingly little about people's past. You have nothing to fear in this court, Lamiroa. Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. Lamira, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet a young gentleman with a wide forehead over there was adamant at your stand. Oh my.
Congratulations, Paolo. You're the bad guy.
Ugh. Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw on the night of the crime.
Jaha. What I saw.
As for what I saw nothing. That night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told us to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
Mm-hmm.
I must say you sound wonderful just testifying. I was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. There you have it, she showed nothing that night. Now I can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat. And refrain from detaining her longer than need be.
Well, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go.
Very well, Mr. Justice, keep it short and sweet. Now I wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something. I got to find out what.
Är det nu vi ska få det där bracelet-tingal eller? Nej. Jag försökte hålla lite koll på om hon rörde sig, men jag såg inte direkt någonting obvious.
Nej, jag pratade bara, jag tänkte inte så mycket på vad hon sa. Ska vi se vad som sa då? Nej, du ska pressa på allt först. But you must have seen something.
Ja, men hon sa att hon inte såg någonting.
Mr. Latour's name. Mr. Latour's. How can I tell you what I don't know? I said you were a witness with his dying words. I do not know what he meant to say, but that night... Ja, det gjorde hon helt klart.
Japp. Det vet vi inte.
Nej.
Och det kan ju säkerligen stämma.
Och det vet vi, det sa ju Gavin i alla fall. Eller han sa ju att de hade...
Ja.
Så gå tillbaka 2 och pressa på den.
Du tänker på den där, ja.
Den, ja.
För vi har... Jo, men ska vi inte... Du. Ska vi inte bara presentera hennes brosch istället då?
Jag skulle kunna ge den, men den fick vi ju... Ja, du menar att vi hittade den innan vi träffade? Ja, exakt. Ja.
Det där är ju hennes.
Ja. Ja, men... You do not return backstage once. Why were you done? What were you doing? I was cleaning up on stage. Oh, like the story. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing. Was Marky with you at the time? Unfortunately, I don't know where he was. So much for an alibi for Marky.
Ja, jag tänker chansa, men det kan ju lika gärna vara ett helvete. Vi kör en tredje. Så. Present. Ja.
Men tystnad i alla fall. I'm sorry, Lamour, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you know? Why, that's Lamour. She was wearing it for a song. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? But this brooch was found after the murder took place. At the very scene of the crime. What? Lamour. How did your brooch get backstage if you don't go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night.
Ja då, nu flög den upp.
What is the meaning of this? Lamour, please explain. Lamura.
Ja, det är klart de ska börja prata.
He says English is quite difficult. That trick's not going to work here. Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now? In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. What?
Okay.
Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak. Is he really saying all that?
What's she talking about, Paolo?
Right when the incident occurred. Ah! Is he talking about that? That.
That. Had to go back up, blah blah blah. Okay.
Just a glance, mind you. So this was when your watch dropped?
Nej. Inte om man bara
That explains that.
kikade in.
Och man kan bara säga saker.
Ja,
Thus there
tydligen.
was no other time I could have dropped it. Och då kan vi väl säga att hans jävla fingeravtryck var när han var och kollade efter skorpioner i ventilationstrumman, eftersom det är ett stort problem i Virginia, så då kollar han alltid efter det i taket.
Ja,
Det är väl ungefär lika rimligt.
Ja, vi behöver inte några bevis för det i alla fall.
Nej. But that's ridiculous, you only looked in for an instant but you dropped your brooch. Half forehead. Just waste a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence. Och fingeravtrycken är inte ens i fucking bevis court recordet.
Nej, men det är alltid vi som ska bevisa, vet du.
So she looked in at the crime scene. Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice. I thought shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. Horrible voice indeed.
Vad elak han är.
I closed the door immediately.
Fast det kan ju inte stämma, för Emma sa att hon inte såg någon ju. Eller hur?
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony. That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Then why you did look into the room though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses.
Mhm. Ja, titta
Oj,
nu.
nu är den igång.
Okej.
When my performance finished, I went backstage for just a moment. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Retus was behind a wall. No.
Hur vet hon det?
Then I was led by the police and told to wait there.
Men nu är vi tillbaka.
Ja, men det som var nytt var ju där behind a wall. Det måste ju vara den.
Ja, och den andra. Det var den och den.
Han var ju inte ens död.
Nej, men... Och där tittar hon ju bort. Vi kan ju testa. Hon ser ju död ut i ögonen i alla fall, det är en sak hon är säker.
Det gör hon.
Det brukar annars vara händerna. Här var det ingenting. Vad fan är hennes händer då?
Man
Inte där i alla
jag
fall.
ser väl inte hennes händer.
Jo, hon har en hand
Jag
här
tror
nere
inte man
någonstans. Nej. Men då är det munnen eller ögonen då? Ser du någonting? Hon pratar ju inte ens.
Nej.
Eller laggar det bara? Där.
Det här var
Satan,
märkligt.
Ja.
Det lät Mr. Letos body i sig. Yes. Men han var ju inte död. You
Nej.
know something more about Mr. Letos death than you're saying. What? I can see you trying not to remember. What effort made you swallow?
Mhm.
Ja, det var helt klart det vi letade efter. Can't fool my eyes. It is true, it was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Letus have to be shot? One moment, Lamirois.
Nej, det där är Apollo, men okej.
Yes.
Nu var det hon.
What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Letus have to be shot?
Det visste hon väl inte heller, för pistolen syns ju inte.
Yes.
Eller? För om du står här, då ser
Men
du ju
det-
inte pistolen. Om man bara
Nej.
öppnar det lite snabbt.
She was hiding something, I knew it. Lamirois, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. Eh? How could that be? Take this! Lamirois contradicted her own estimate. I have the evidence to prove it. Ja, men kör på det du sa. If I do
Nej.
not misunderstand the meaning of contradiction, it is you who contradict Mr. Justice. Huh? Your evidence is meaningless.
Jaha. Wrong
Hopp.
evidence.
Ja, då får vi finka lite.
What did she say again? Då gör vi sådär. Vi vill inte... Man är ju betydligt mindre liv i det här spelet. Men pistolen då? Eller hur? För hon hävdade att hon bara kikade in lite snabbt, eller hur?
Mm.
Nähä. Nej, då...
Fel tanke tror jag.
Fel tanke.
Eller fel spår.
Okej, så hon ska... Vet du det... Why did Mr. Letus have to be shot? Hmm. Den då?
Ja, jag vet inte ens längre.
Vi har inte så mycket skit att välja på.
Oh.
Hepp.
Vilken tog du nu?
Nu var det bilden på hans lik.
Nej, okej. Ta autopsy-reporten då.
Ja, de skriker där nere också. Oh.
Nope. Ja, jag var snart slut på grejer.
Men det ska ju inte vara omöjligt.
Attorney's badge.
Nej! Have to be shot. That's right. That's so they contradict her testimony. För det enda hon sa det var att hon kikade bara in, eller hur? Just hon visste ju inte att han hade blivit skjuten här, tänker jag. Hon sa ju också att hon blev ju intryckt i Mr. Gavins rum utan att få veta någonting.
Tell me, Lamura. How do you know you had been shot?
Exakt.
Well, I... Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In testimony, I told the court. No one told me anything about the incident.
Precis.
Ah. Furthermore, you testified you had seen nothing. Yet you know that Mr. Latouz has been shot. How could you have known?
Ja, men då borde egentligen alla ha funkat egentligen. Förutom
Jo.
det med gag order då.
Jau!
Så ja. En lögn. Borta.
Lamiroa. You aren't hiding something from this court, I hope. That sweet song and hers was sounding a little too sweet. Ah, now I remember. Please allow me to add to my testimony.
Men vad fan.
Of
Så
course.
får de alltid göra.
All we want to know is the truth.
She looks kind of pale, huh?
This or something, I know it. And the victim said so. Flashback?
Nej,
Nej.
tack vare gud.
Jag trodde det skulle vara flashback till Siren. Nej, hon såg inte alls bullet hole. Nu måste det vara diagrammet. Ja, men allt annat är ju samma. Hon kan ju omöjligt ha sett det bullet holes eller?
Nej, inte om man bara kikade in. Men ska vi bara presentera den direkt då eller?
Ja, testa det. Annars får jag tänka på något annat.
Snyggt.
Lamiroa, they call you the siren of the ballad, not the idiot. But lies are hardly becoming of such a creature. I put down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice.
Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo.
Start polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, yeah? Come on, can't I be cool for once? Observe the diagram. Alltid. Consult this graph. Observe this diagram. You looked in from the door for just a moment. Correct? Yes, that is so. There are bullet holes in the room, yes. But they were in the wall the door is on. Eh? You see, assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. Så det var ett vikande snö i förväg igen. För det var ju det här vi ville säga hela tiden.
Det var precis det vi ville säga, men bara att...
Lami var man tvungen att... Man måste ljuga en liten stund först.
Precis.
Yes, I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something. Ja, låt mig bara ändra igen. And I must tell you. I must tell you what it is that I saw. Yes. The happening in this trial are being recorded. And I'm certain it will be on the news in Borginja. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it. Personally speaking, I still believe that Kazak's examining her will tell us absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Latouz died. And he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lamiroa. Very well. Lamiroa, please continue your testimony. Very well, I shall.
Part 3 nu. What I actually saw.
Men det har ju gått en timme så ska vi ta ett litet break.
Kan vi göra. Gör det bra. Är du tillbaka Fredrik? Moped.
Hardcore.
Hardcore. What I saw.
Also, my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it.
Nej. Så går det inte, som den öppnar ju bara en liten bit.
There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was. Who did witness the crime?
Cry me.
And the killer was a grown person, you say? Ah, this is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play, have forehead. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination.
Break on, Apollo. You're right about Lamrar. What's wrong? You don't look too happy.
This whole thing smells fishy, that's what's wrong.
Jag tror vi får pressa på den där med att hon kollar in genom fönstret i alla fall.
Kan vi få veta vart det här jävla fönstret går?
Nej, det får vi inte, men det kan vi få veta nu.
Ett jättelitet fönster. Och vart går man när man är utanför det? Jag vill veta. Apollo. What exactly is something like a little window?
Ja, men sluta nu.
Yes, well, it's a step window. Window is the best word I know in English. Think this is how it is said, yes? You need not worry, Lamia. Your choice of words is impeccable. There's a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defense remembers this detail? Now the window on the wall. I saw the crime from there.
Men vad fan, det kan ju inte vara. Den öppnade bara lite, har de ju hävdat.
Har vi något bevis för det här då?
Nej, det har vi inte. Det har vi icke. Nej.
Vi vill ju inte kontradikta henne på det för vi vet det.
Den där då?
A grown person? That's a little vague. I am sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know. Certainly you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female. He was a man, a young man. Are you sure of that? Yes, his voice was quite clear. Sa open wide for just voice.
Ja, förmodligen.
Looking at this diagram, it seems that the dressing room was quite cluttered. It does seem likely that you wouldn't have a clear view of the shooter. As a singer, I remember my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man. So you had a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Letus? Absolutely not. Did I just not say that I do not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Letus who spoke, I would have known. Indeed. Stood at the window and you heard the shooter's voice, the voice of a young man.
Well, this is a good testimony. That proves it was Maki.
Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cost this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense of opinion of this testimony?
Borde vara en contradictory, va? Antar jag. Ja.
So it pains me to say this. There's something about Lamuar's testimony that rings false. Yeah, bravo här forehead. You're colder than I thought. You remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no ground man can press through that air vent. Couldn't have fled the scene of the crime.
But that means Lamar has to be lying.
I know, and I know it's bad for a case, but I can't shut my justice eyes for this. Believe me, the idea was tempting. It is as the forehead says. Yet this is not the only contradiction within her testimony, yeah? What's he talking about? La Miroir. I understand why you would want to protect Marquis. Yet remember you are the scion of the ballad. And lies do not become such a creature. What does the prosecution mean?
But what is he talking about?
How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that?
Ja, du har ju pratat 90% av tiden, det känns ganska skönt här.
I recall the state of the crime scene quite well. The state of the room? Yes, and when the murder took place.
Nu försöker kolla här nu.
That window was closed. I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it. What? But I'm sure. Lamia. I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense. But my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser. But she's the only eyewitness we have. So you say? And the victim named that the sign as the witness? That's right, that's what Mr. Latours. We heard your claim, we even entertained the possibility, and he brought us to this. Head judge. Yes. The prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Bitter.
Bitte.
I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. Oj, var det där in?
Min vad?
Det där var något som lät...
Ja, nej det tror jag inte. Jag hörde ingenting.
Undrar vad det var. Is indeed a question of the witness
Det kan
credibility.
lika gärna vara min handkontroll.
But if La Miroir can't testify...
Then we don't have a chance to prove Marcus' innocence.
This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin. You may continue making your case. Danke. Now where were we? Yes, I'd like to hear from Fraulein Detective again. Wait, let me allow me to testimony one last time. But the cross-examination is already over. Until such a time as the need arises. This witness may leave the stand. I'm sorry I could not be of more assistance.
Luktar fisk hela vägen här.
At last back to the real trial. Ready here for head? Hope I didn't just miss my only chance. Fraulein Detective, how far have we gotten until we were so rudely interrupted?
Don't ask me.
I dislike saying the same thing twice. And I never repeat a song for an encore. If you would, Mishkai.
I believe I was saying that the only way Mr. Latour's killer could have escaped was through the air vent on the ceiling.
Ah yes, there was only one door in the room. And a witness, you were standing in front of it.
That air vent isn't very big, see? Kind of limits to people who could possibly get cut through.
Certainly would have a difficult time.
You sure would. Not that you would have been near in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people not involved with the concert. The only one who meets the conditions for a killer is the defendant.
That was also performance, I couldn't have put it better myself. She does state a clear case. Though reading a report something caught my eye. Oh, what's that? The circumstances of the defendant's arrest. Circumstances? Again.
Hey, that's right, Apollo. Remember when we found Maki? That was bizarre.
She's right. He's rocking out, man. Why did Mr. Latour's body disappear from the room? And then up on top of that stage tower.
Med en gitarr.
Ja, holding a guitar no less. Kan han ha blivit spirit mediumad? A perceptive observation här, Judge.
Inte omöjligt. Eller så var det fejkat mord från början.
Oh, thanks. It was kind of an accident, really. But you work in this job long enough.
Men det är där vi har sagt hela tiden, att hur kan han ha dött av att bli skjuten i axeln bara?
You get a nose for things.
The judge sure seemed pleased with himself.
Very good from a detective. Perhaps you can tie it all together for us. Why was the body moved? And how does that lead us to the killer?
The killer? Okay. The missing body. Anthony Mackie stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match the Lamar song. The one in this country had a motive to kill the victim, and Mackie practically left his signature at the scene. All of this evidence clearly points to the defendant. Okay.
Det var inte ett vittnesmål.
Det var det inte alls.
Det var ett anklagande. Vad i helvete. Lamioas song. Yes, the guitar serenade. You notice it's code too, did you not? It's code. All events that they follow the lyrics to our song. First, the keys to my heart held on so tightly were stolen. Then Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames on stage. Mr. Luther's life was taken by a bullet. The rest hardly needs explanation. Guitar up together in the sky. That's mad. Like a story out of some fairy tale.
I call bullshit.
I admit I've forgotten about the song. But there is now waiting for me the grand finale, as it were.
Hey, I was the one who first noticed that.
There are jumping rope songs and counting songs. But killing? It's a wild world out there, Judge.
Oh, baby, it's a wild world.
Very well. With one song and dance, let's get on to the other. The cross-examination. Not so sure I'm going to be doing much singing.
Finns en jag vill pressa på i alla fall. Om det är inte den... Den här tänker jag på. Är det fingeravtryck de pratar om eller?
What do you mean by a signature?
Nej, the bullet holes in the wall of course.
Bullet holes?
The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall.
No, that means what exactly?
The dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Pit should have facing off with the victim in there. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It would be difficult, almost impossible to miss at that range.
Difficult to miss, you say?
Very. Assuming the shooter could properly aim.
No. Är det för att han är blind? Can't be serious.
Ja, han är ju blind. Hur skulle han då kunna träffa? Marty, he can't see. That's why he missed.
Deras bevis blir bara sämre och sämre. Allvarligt.
Ja, it's the only explanation that makes sense. He used sound and other senses to fire the gun. Party.
That reminds me, the monitor in that room was blaring at the time, yeah. Had the ideal condition for tracking by sound. A blind shooter. No wonder you missed. Knew those bullet holes would come back to haunt me. Think Justice, what do I do now?
Raise an objection, tänker jag.
Objection! Sure, there were bullet holes left in the wall. But that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see. Oh, how so? Man kan ju bara missa att oavsett where there could have been a struggle with the victim. That's certainly possible. And it might have been the revolver's fault. The revolver? The revolver was a very large caliber, correct? If the shooter wasn't used to find such a large weapon, why it could dislocate their shoulder? Exactly. The defendant market device, as you can see, tiny. It's not so hard to picture him fire the gun and missing entirely. The kickback alone would throw off same. Okej, vad har Klaver att säga åt det här då?
Någonting.
Convincing argument to be sure. För det är det jag velat säga hela tiden, att han kan ju omöjligt skjuta 2 skott om axeln går ur led på första.
Japp.
Like that's smug prosecution.
Med tanke på att han är 14 år också och ganska liten. I follow.
What?
That bit about Marky being tiny. And a gun thrown off his aim. Aren't you kind of admitting that he did it?
Nej, för vi säger att han inte kunde skjuta alls.
Precis.
Oh, it does not matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was without a doubt the defender. Men det är inte without a doubt.
Nej.
In the defense seems to agree on that point.
Jag vill ha fingeravtryck på pistolen.
Vet vi ens att den blev... Att det var den pistolen?
Det vet vi inte.
I will put my foot in it this time. Let's get to the facts and the math on the record. If you would, 4-9 detective.
Okay.
Very well. The witness was added for testimony.
Right. I conclude the shooter was blind. Och då bara man missade så måste man vara blind, eller? Jag tänker, vet du, jag ska testa en grej här bara. Nope, okej. Då får vi väl pressa på den där jäveln då. Jag vill ha fingeravtryck.
You can't say it was blind just because of the bullet holes in the wall. I think I've proven that.
I don't want to call it proof per se.
You merely raised a possibility.
Ja, men det gjorde ju de förut också. Då var ju allting glasklart.
Men om det är en possibility så är det väl inte utom tvivel att han gjorde det.
Nej, precis. Det är bara ren bullshit. De är mot
All
oss.
I detect as one is the most logical conjecture based upon the evidence. Of course there's more evidence than just bullet holes. The defender was the only one who can have escaped through the air vent. But wait, if he was blind, how would he know about the air vent in the first place? Ah, very good point. Well, Fraulein detective, if you would care to explain. Certainly seems sure of himself.
Recall the crime scene, if you would. There was a stepladder below the air vent. It happened. Maintenance was scheduled for that day. The storage staff went around checking all the air vents.
Don't believe it.
Everyone backstage was told about maintenance, including Makito Bay. You would have known that there would be a way out at the top of that stepladder.
But that's why is this the first time hearing about this? You could have figured it out for yourself. You only need to consider what that stepladder was doing there. Looks like the defense objections has been squished by a stepladder. Well, go ahead. Out of ammunition, perhaps? I haven't seen prosecutors so aggressive. Maybe it's caught a scent of blood.
Apollo, don't you have something? Anything? You know what we need? We need something to prove the killer could see. They'll put him in his place.
Proving the shooter was sighted would do it. That would take down one of their central points. Do I have any evidence that can prove that though?
No need.
Sure.
Nej, är du helt
Surely.
Är du helt säker?
Nej, jag har ingen aning, men...
Nu pausar vi här. För de hävdar ju att det här är ju påminner om sången, eller hur?
Men om man... Då bevisar ju bara att han inte är blind. Om det är enligt sången, kan han läsa det här då?
Nej, men han har ju hört låten.
Ja,
Men,
jo, jag vet.
men vem tog hans nycklar? Och hur kunde han då bära den där stora mannen? Och sen hitta den där hissen och sen åka upp?
Ja.
Sightseeing musik. Oj. Vad händer nu? Jaha, man kan hoppa så fort också.
Hur vet han om vem det var han sköt om han är blind också?
Ja, men det kanske inte spelar någon roll vem han sköt.
Nej.
Ja, vad säger du? Hittar du någonting bra här?
Nej, men vi måste väl försöka.
Ja, jag tror inte vi har någonting, men sure.
I accept the prosecution challenge. As I knew you would have forehead. What exactly am I up against here? Prosecution is saying the shooter missed because they couldn't see. Therefore Matthew, who's blind, did it. The defense please present their evidence. Evidence that overturns the prosecution's claim that the shooter couldn't see.
Kan det vara den här bilden då? För att de har ju sagt hela tiden att det är så jävla mycket skit här inne, eller hur? Som person som sköt och var blind, då borde de väl ha snubblat över alla de här grejerna.
Men om de säger... De säger att han är i rummet i och för sig. Ja. Men de måste ju ha sett vart han är. För de kan ju inte ha hört vart han är, för det var ju musik uppe. Så de måste ju ha sett vart Letus var.
Ja. Vi kan ju testa den här, men jag vet inte.
Jag vet inte hur vi ska bevisa det.
Jag kan testa den här. Men vänta, vi kör... Nej, jag kan inte. Okej, men vi presenterar den bara.
Nope. I'm sure that overturns anything, Mr. Justice.
Nähä.
Both love and justice are blind.
Mhm. This doesn't look good, does it, Apollo?
No, it doesn't.
What do we do?
First, we don't panic. Even though Marty's case is leaking water by the gallon. Gallon's on our roll, then it's up to me to stop him.
Jaha. Nej, men...
Vänta, det kanske är en classic att vi måste pressa på andra grejer för att få beviset som bevisar att han såg.
Kanske, men då gör vi så här då. Jag gör min autosaver. Vilken är det, den där? 1750. Nu vill jag svara nej här, får vi se vad han säger.
Can't think of any prosecutor could see. Your face does not exactly project confidence.
Maybe you should just accept it and move on. Apollo, grow a backbone.
Very well, the witness may continue her testimony. Didn't we get a word in edgewise?
Ja, det har vi sett. Det är exakt samma.
It would steal about just to match some lyrics.
I don't believe it myself, but it can just be a coincidence.
In this as Fallen Detective says.
Nej men sluta nu.
That's been so good Fallen Detective.
Alright, you want me to sing it?
Ja, The Witness, ja. What did you want me to sing? I warn you, my fears of vocalist is not trivial.
Let's look at the first part of the lyrics, shall we? Har inte vi redan sett där?
Oh.
When you stole away the keys my heart held on to so tight.
Indeed, my favorite heart-shaped keyring was stolen that morning.
Next you go to the right page of the lyrics sheet. Where we find burning on in my heart, fire, burn my love away, all away. As we now prosecuted Gavin, the guitar burst into flame. Like a bullet of love, fire, take my life away, all away. Miss Litu's life was taken by a bullet.
Wow, Fallen Detective, you're singing. It's not bad. Now, for the finale.
Guitar hade du.
Guitar up together to the sky. As it says in the lyrics, Mr. Letous. Was found with a guitar high in the sky over the stage.
Mhm.
No series of coincidences could be so well conceived.
He's right, scientifically speaking.
What would Walker have said? That concert was whack.
It's hard to argue when she pours her heart into it like that. Anyway, the shooter. Den har vi tagit, va? Nej, det har vi inte alls det.
Nej, jag tror inte vi har pressat på den. Does the prosecution have any idea why he do all this?
In my scientific opinion, no clue. But he clearly had a reason to go through all the trouble. Some deep reason.
A deep reason. Not only did he steal my keys, he torched my guitar. Unforgivable act even if he had a reason. And worse if he had none.
The deepest complaints aside, I can't imagine someone doing this on just a whim.
Fallen Detective I took offense of the description. In addition to wildly rehearsed, we say.
Yes, this crime was planned for sure. Okay.
But Mr. Letous spoke English. He may have come to this country before.
Looked into that, I assure you.
Oh.
It was his first time in the country, it seems. Apparently he learned English on his own.
Great. You see? No one here had motive to kill him and certainly not in such an elaborate fashion. It does seem difficult to imagine.
Well, as a famous prosecutor did it as a publicity stunt.
What did you say? Prosecutor Gavin, you did this to promote your song?
Det är det jag försöker säga.
Of course not, and I'm quite dismayed by the ludicrous nature of your claim. Why would I need a promotion? Everyone already listens to my music.
You're even in my textbook at school.
And I never heard of him. What does they say about me?
Oh, just kidding. Don't get all worked up, Limmer boy. Den har vi pressat på. Och den var ny, eller hur?
Mhm.
Pressar vi på den? Jo, det var då vi fick det här. Hur vet att han var blind? Tjosan.
Yep.
Har vi något bevis på att han kunde se då?
BB en sekund.
Mm.
Min mor ringer.
Gör så. Pleasure, pleasure, fleeting melody, it wraps itself around me and now through the air I fly. Nej, där vi tittar på. Nu gör vi så här igen då. Nice, a wonder bar.
Har listat ut den?
Nej, jag håller på att kolla lite på pistolen bara.
Mm.
Men det jag funderar lite på, och det kanske inte är relevant, men om du tittar på de här lyric sheet igen, så den här biten, pleasure, pleasure, but a fleeting melody, it wraps itself around me and now through the air I fly. Det har de inte förklarat.
Det har de inte.
Ja, när skulle det här bli relevant då? Ja, man kan stänga av metronomen tydligen. Ska vi hitta någonting på den här jäkeln då? Det har vi inte. Det har vi tittat. Wasn't he saying that he had to break his case because he couldn't get it unlocked? I could open and lock like that in 10 seconds easy. He should have given me a call. Handcuffs 20 seconds tops.
Yeah, she's on my side.
Men det var ju inte något jätteviktigt det där. För den här sitter ju fast, ser du ju. Så man kan ju inte bara tappat den.
The danger pin.
Mhm. Nej du, jag har inga bra idéer här. Vi pressar på allt verkligen. Jo, den har vi gjort. Den har vi gjort. Då är det ju bara den här kvar och då måste vi kunna bevisa skiten ju.
Den lilla detaljen.
Mhm. Ja, 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 ja. Something to upload the killer could see.
Ja, vi testar väl present allting. Vi får väl göra så. Testa lyric sheeten.
Men det är så jävla
Har du nöjd?
tråkigt om vi ska behöva göra det.
Testade vi lyric sheeten?
Nej, det har vi inte gjort. Men jag tror den här kan vi ju skippa. Pistolen testade jag. Nej, det gjorde jag inte. Jag testade den där.
Mhm.
Men jag skulle gissa att det kan vara antingen vara broschen eller keyring också. Oh. Okej, då kanske vi ska spara lite innan istället. För det här kommer ju ta en evighet annars. Jag tror att det finns en snabb knapp för att spola i alla fall.
Ja. Det är positivt.
Men om du fick välja broschen eller nyckelringen. Jag skulle säga nyckelringen. För att om man inte kan se hur ska han då veta. För han tog i så fall nycklarna från Gavin. Från hans hem. Eller hur?
Vi testar.
Han kunde ju inte ride his hog bara för att han inte hade några nycklar, vet du. Nej. Så. Present. Oh.
Nej, jag har inte ens kollat om det går någon vart. Nej. Hepp.
För vi kan inte göra så mycket mer, tänker jag. Pistolen då? Nope.
Nope.
Då är det nog bra sen. Vad fan ska det annars vara? Det här är så jävla dålig gameplay om man... Är vi bara tröga eller för smarta på den här skiten?
Vi får se när vi...
Nej, vet du vad det är?
Nej.
Det är ju musiken! Om han nu skulle höra sig fram.
Men det är det jag sa hela tiden.
De sa ju att
Att han inte kunde se honom.
Nej.
Men är det verkligen musikspelaren vi ska använda kanske?
Jag tänker
Då,
det.
i så fall så är vi inne på det som jag tänkte, att det är omöjligt för honom att se vart Toulouse är.
Ja, eftersom de har ju till och med sagt att it was blaring in the room.
Ja. Det får jag se.
Nej, fan också!
Men det fanns slut på grejer.
Ja, inga vettiga grejer i alla fall.
Ja, vi får testa dem.
Här får vi väl försöka presentera något annat på hennes statements då. Okej, nu ska vi se här. Vi har tagit den. Ja, det är väl en postcard då. Den har vi tagit. Tog jag broschen? Det gjorde jag inte, va? Nope. Åh gud. Okej, nu får du välja postcard eller någon av de här två.
Ta bilden på han.
Ja.
Okej, undrar vad han kommer säga nu. Jag har verkligen ingen aning.
Jag är väldigt nyfiken i alla fall.
This is that evidence. The photograph of the crime scene. I don't care much for the smirk on prosecuting Gavin's face. But this is no time to think twice. Time to press on. Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There is something in here that decisively contradicts the prosecution's point. Then perhaps you best show us this something.
Åh nej, nu måste vi peka ut skiten också.
Get your finger out of the breeze and put it to good use, ja.
Åh herregud, vi vet ju inte ens varför det där är rätt.
Ja, om vi kollar på bilden kanske vi listar ut det. Very well, show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. Contradiction of the sign of the crime is...
Är det här? Det ser ut som att någon har ju smudgat ut det. Som att mördaren har smudgat ut det själv, tänker jag.
Absolut. The contradiction is right here.
Did this smear blood stains?
I thought it was just my blurry vision. But it really was blurry. The way the victim's hand is raised above his head. Much like a gesture I've seen many times in this court.
It's almost as if you wrote something. Aha! I get it at least. I think I get it.
Get what, Fräulein?
When Mr. Latus was shot, he tried to write something. And what would he write but the shooter's name? And what would he write it in but his own blood? Pretty good, huh?
Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that's what I think happened here. That does seem to be a distinct possibility.
The victim wrote the killer's name? It's certainly a logical conclusion. Drat, I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that.
Of course it's rubbed out why if I were a killer. I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind. Neither would I.
Nej, men det tyder ju på att mördaren kunde se.
No one has anything else to say? About what? So the producer accepts this? You agree this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer? And that the killer tried to rub the name out? Rub it out, eh?
Rub one out. What's your point?
What's my point? Let me ask you this. How did the killer know the victim was writing their name?
And Mr. Latus was writing something in blood. Once the killer saw what it was? Wait.
Once you saw what it was.
Mm-hmm.
What did you just testify about the shooter?
I said they were blind. Ah!
Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that. The killer had I been able to see. Why would they rub out the name in the blood otherwise? May I remind the court that the defendant Mark Dubai is blind. He couldn't have been the shooter.
Impossible! Hopp.
Please explain to me what all this means. Been looking at this photo.
Look at this photograph.
It seems quite clear that the shooter could see. Yet up until now.
Mm-hmm.
It seems I owe the cause an apology. The Gavin is on a band with law enforcement yet at time. Law enforcement ties yet a murder occurred during a concert. Apparently this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, someone was supposed to not failing in a timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here.
Yeah, Paul, look at him. Why is Prosecutor Gavin all relaxed and smiling like that? Like he knows something we don't, and he's about to tell us.
Hey, I got an idea. Let's rock! These documents. But before that, I have a question for the Fräulein detective.
Mm-hmm.
If I may.
What?
Why do you think that Maki Dubai is blind? Huh? What did he say? Varför att han var så bra på att skjuta med revolver att han blev blind?
Mhm. Han kanske blev blind. Of course he's blind.
Of course.
He's the blind
Jag visste att de skulle göra den här att hans blind grej var fake också. Jag visste.
Ja, det är klart. Det är ju en bra image. Du vet, en blind pianospelare. Doesn't someone lead him around by the hand all the time?
No way. I have a report on head the defendant Maki Dubai. According to this, Maki Dubai Can see perfectly well.
What?
This blindness familiar publicity boy was clever Borginians.
Mm-hmm.
You can see quite well. But you said... What did I say exactly? Therefore, had not once in the court of this trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The only one who did was Fraulein Detective. But that's a significant fact. Yes, consider market to base C's. And he was the only one who could have fled through the air vent. I see no problems with this.
What about the hole? Bullet holes in the wall?
Yes, the bullet holes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Halfway had neatly explained those for us. He did miss because he couldn't see. It was the kickback from the 45 caliber revolver. Simple accident, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
How's that?
Vi snackar om så jävla mycket skit under
I'm afraid your objection is just flown off of bright skies. Burky burk. This is where the real fun begins, our forehead. Yarg.
Hmm.
Knew you didn't have what it took.
You jerk. Just what was I in here for? Comic relief? Yeah, apologize.
Oh, sorry.
There's no way to apologize.
Is anger the truth now? And maybe we can please end the bickering. Now.
Whatever, I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clues to solve this case if it kills me.
But your testimony has already given us to convict the defendant. Ugh, don't say that. What?
This bloodstain. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right?
That seems to be what happened, yes.
I won't be able to find out what was rewritten here.
Really? You can do that?
Är det luminol nu eller? That's right, with this.
Yep.
It's called luminol. Maybe you know it. It's a chemical that directs the blood.
Ah yes, have we done these tests yet?
Huh, guess if I'm going to tell you.
Bloodstain covered a section of the carpet. In order to perform blood test, that section was removed and submitted. Password should request it here in court now.
Nu, go for it, Paolo. Nu kommer det säkert stå Gaveneers eller någonting.
I have to do the test.
You just have to spray the luminol on it, simple.
A camera that reacts to blood, I've heard of this somewhere.
Det kommer stå Gaveneers eller någonting, det kan jag garantera.
Yes, I believe an analysis is called for. Have at it.
Right, ready? It's easy as pie. Okej, det är bara en tutorial.
Hey. Ja. Let's do this.
Play. 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 It picks 314 206.
Oh, it really works.
This must be the power of science. HSE IPXX314206. Is that the killer's name?
Maybe it is. If the killer was a robot. I have it. So what is it? I thought those letters to IPXX locked Familia. This is an Interpol ID number. Det var jävla avancerat.
You mean the International Police Agency?
Yes, most undercover agents work at solving international crimes.
Ja men vadå, jobbar inte han ena gitarristen som där skiten? Criminal affairs.
I will write that number. Why would Mr. Letos even know a number like that? Good show from a detective. Rock on!
Eh?
Joanna. We can verify this number immediately. Diane, are you there? Come up with the witness stand.
Jaha. Rock on. Hardcore.
Diane, you hear what we need. Go check into his Interpol ID number.
Sure thing, give me 30 minutes. No, give it 27. Oh, okay.
Not sure what to think of all this. The prosecution case is airtight to research him. Yet if the number really is that of an Interpol.
Oh wait, I don't know. What if McIntyre is really an undercover Interpol agent? Han är 14!
That would be the possibility. A possibility, yes. I wonder what mark him as the killer for certain. Why did Latouche know an Interpol ID number? That's what I want to know. Det är jävligt suspekt. Det är inte jävligt långt. Jag kunde hans Interpol-ID men inte namnet.
Nej, precis.
Well, we have some time while we wait parents.
Ja, vad ska vi göra nu då? Spela musik eller?
Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? US mystery concerning Maji to buy. What are you talking about? Pauline detective, please accept my apologies. We received word the defendant could in fact see us before the trial began. Seemed too much of a bother to tell you.
Let me until that last bit.
Does this not raise a rather straightforward question?
Yeah, sure. Why did Michael pretend to be you couldn't see?
Exactly, it makes little sense. What do you think, Half Forehead? Huh? Me? Machi to buy pretended he was blind. Do you know why?
How could you know? Wait, Prosecutor Kevin knows why, doesn't he?
It's known from the start of the trial. It's been leading us on the whole time. Something wrong? Do you think perhaps this is all some kind of game? No, at the moment I heard that report, I knew why. I suppose people have sold over 1 million records really are something else. What does that have to do with anything? There was a reason why Maki Tobai pretended to be blind, but it wasn't for its own sake. Getting the picture now? It wasn't for himself? Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had to feign blindness?
Men vad fan? Jag har väl ingen bevis för det? Eller?
I'm sure we can find something out.
Ja, för det gick ju så bra sist.
Maki had no reason to pretend he couldn't see. Which means, no, he couldn't be. Good show here, Forehead. Seems you thought of something. Why can't I figure these things out on my own? Hate having to take my cues from this guy. Very well, look at this. This is why you're pretending you couldn't see.
Jag tror
Var vi inte någonstans där det står att han är the blind fucker?
The blind fucker de inte, men här har du sightseeing musik.
Ja.
Så det måste vara den här. Ja.
That is La Miroir. La Miroir and Matcha to buy. Recall their relationship. In particular their unique arrangement over the years before visiting our country.
Vadå over the years? Han är 14. Lamar and her pianist, they would always work together. She leading him by the hand. Here when they go on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all over the way over there with him.
That's right, because he was blind. She led him at all times, never let him in go. All times, Yet, we just learned something that makes their arrangement peculiar indeed. Maki could see. Why did they have to keep up this act the whole time? Well, wasn't it part of their performance? I think there's a simpler explanation. Maki did not need to be led by the hand at all. That can only mean one thing.
Ah, really?
Really, it was the other way around.
Och då är hon blind?
Blind!
Helvete.
Who needed to be led by the hand? Ocean Man! What's La Miroir? Watch this. Bruce means to say that La Miroir she's... Yes, Your Honor. La Miroir is blind.
What? Nu börjar det bara bli ridiculous här.
Order! That is crazy, Prosecutor Gavin. Is it now? Please shed some sanity on this madness. The defense has made an outrageous claim. The only thing outrageous I see about the defense is its vast forehead. Yet I see it not vast in vain this time. Is quite correct. But that makes no sense.
Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something?
Well, since we have her here, why not ask La Miroir herself? Please, she's still in the witness waiting room.
What does this mean for our case?
Don't ask me, I had no idea she couldn't see. I hadn't even imagined it until now. Really, bring in La Miroir. La Miroir pinched me deeply to call you before us again in this way. And yet I must. Please do not be concerned on my behalf. Those eyes, she really can't see? Really? It is true. How funny is that a tiny lie born in the Borginian countryside would one day grow to entangle the entire world? So you are. Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became La Miroir. No, too that my memories begin in darkness. The word light has no meaning for La Miroir.
Okej, vad mörkt det är nu.
See. Så när börjar hon referera till sig själv i tredje person? You may recall me saying something toward the beginning of this trial, have forehead. What's that? I believe I said it was unfortunate this crime had no direct witnesses.
Ah.
Now, Lamio, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes? Of course. It's never my intent to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor? Yes, of course. So I admit I'm a little lost here. I think you're all a little bit lost here, Your Honor.
Jaha. Spännande.
Ska jag sluta med att den inte är blind ändå?
Ja, förmodligen.
I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others.
Okej, vad fan var det för?
But this is murder trial. I apologize, it was part of my contract. You see?
You see.
I was to keep my blindness a secret no matter what. Music is everything for me. I never imagined something that this would. She told us the truth in the beginning. When she said she saw nothing. Very well, does the defense have anything to add? I'd like to cross-examine.
But what is there left to ask?
There was one thing in her testimony that bothered me. Perhaps it's best we let it get you out of your system. Someday, you'll come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself. Very well, the defense may proceed. However, be aware this court will not tolerate any question deemed too stressful to the witness. Okay, there was only one part that bothered me. Just let me ask about that and I'll be happy.
Ja, kom igen då.
Jag vet inte, det var bara någonting som var märkligt med meningen. Jag vet inte vad det var.
Ja,
Jag bara stirrade på den och bara...
Ja,
Läst för mycket kanske.
jag tror det. Vi är uppe i 2 timmar också, så jag börjar bli lite mör i huvudet.
Ja.
Det bjuder in a world of darkness and sound.
Så seriöst, jag inte pretend I can see.
Ja, den tror jag.
Was that to protect your image as the landscape painter in sound? That does matter so much to me, really. But the label is quite concerned about it, I think.
A landscape painter who can't see. That's like a pianist who can't play, huh?
Not sure you can compare your father to Lamir. Wow. The world of commercial music is filled with these little white lies. Nothing is sacred when it comes to publicity.
Nej, precis. Det är det jag försöker säga. Så jag tror det var en PR-stunt. Everyone on my staff knew. Ja, men den då.
When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Latouche? Of course, he was my manager. So I knew, and that's what's been bugging me. Something the matter is this. Believe I know what is bothering our young defense attorney. Nej, vänta, det var klavier.
Ja, det är klaver.
I believe I know what is bothering our young defense attorney. Yeah. You're thinking of when you discovered the body, yeah?
Is he right, Apollo?
Yes, I was.
Ja, det är
He's
det.
alive.
Can you hear me? Cold, so cold. Witness. You're going to be fine. Help is on the way. Can't see. Siren can't see.
Jag visste att det skulle vara någonting som var fucked med det här.
Mm.
The witness is Siren.
Mm.
Mr. Letus told me to ask the witness and he named you. Why would he do that? He knew you were blind. I don't know. Ugh. What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself. Meaning what? There's no mystery here, you call everything is said. Think of his last words once more. The witness, Shiren. We've heard it many times, along with a little play acting by our defense.
Play acting.
Oh, I meant them well myself, but that statement is not what I referred. I mean, what he said before. Oh, yeah.
I can't see.
Before? What came before that? That's right, he tried to tell you. When he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about the witness. I see. Too bad the defense did not. Well, half ahead. Try relaxing and looking at the facts first next time.
Good.
Order. Recall Amga's earlier testimony. Us, oh no, there were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop.
Det är för hon inte kan se.
But she couldn't have heard those gunshots.
För att hon är blind, eller?
I thought we proved that. That is not the most important point here. The moment he was shot, Mr. Letus witnessed that through that window. Why else would they have named her as the witness?
Men han vet ju att hon inte kan se.
But I really did hear them. 2 gunshots and the man's voice. Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed.
Nej, fönstret var väl öppet?
Yeah, well, they ran a simulation, of course. Simulation? But it's so clear if I hear that voice again, I will know it in an instant. Your honor! What is it, killer? Can't you see we're in station here? We have the results back from the investigation. Investigation? Ah, the Interpol number that Mr. Letus left us.
Okay.
Well, let's hear it. We'll continue this cross-examination afterward. Detective Chris Hand, your report, please.
I asked Interpol about the number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing.
Which work is always Darian? Well, tell us about the number. Is the defendant a secret agent?
IPX is 314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Letus. What?
What?
Our undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Letus himself. He was apparently in the middle of an operation.
When he wrote those letters.
He was trying to tell us his own identity. And the cautious killer tried to wipe them away. Mr. Letus was an undercover Interpol agent. So him being Limrar's manager.
Was just a cover, most likely.
Så nu ska de förmodligen säga att Mackie Tuberg är ju någon så här stor lögnare och rånar massa kända ställen och det är därför de försökte få tag på honom. Just one other important detail I found.
Well, out with it.
It concerned the 45 caliber revolver, the murder weapon. Apparently it belonged to Romain Letus. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms. And the registration number on the revolver matched.
So the victim was killed with some weapon, which makes sense. So to imagine someone was on that Interpol agent with such a large revolver. So the victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover cop. Oop. Wonder how that ties into everything. Det är inte relevant.
Nej. It's got to tie in somehow, you think?
Yeah. Somehow. Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Chris Handy. It's a great help.
No, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Okej, nu då.
Wait.
Och nej, ska de säga att det är han som pratar nu, eller?
Let me why is something the matter? That voice just now.
Ja.
Diane? Mr. Darian, is it? It was him. I'm sure of it. It was him? You aren't saying... That voice I heard talking to Mr. Latours when I heard the gunshots fired.
Nu har du blandat ihop rösterna helt.
Oj. Oj. It was him, it was Mr. Darian. Is this a kind of joke? What?
No way. It ain't me, man.
Fortune fell into such a chaotic state the trial had to be suspended indefinitely. I've never seen that happen before. Of course, it's not every day you get an accusation like that one. Namoir fingering Darian Crescent. Not only is a guitarist, he's a detective.
Det är inte Darian som ville fingra henne då.
Could really have been his voice Lamiroir heard. Things were changing fast and frankly I wasn't sure I could keep up with it.
Hey, no wimping out now, Paulo. To be continued. Det blir väl ett bra ställe att avsluta på, antar jag.
Ja.
För jag gissar på att nästa kommer väl vara en investigation phase, va? Ja, precis. Investigation day 2.
Ja. Det var ganska långt för att vara första delen av en trial.
Ja, 2 timmar.
Ja.
Men det är ju ganska lagom, tycker jag. Det behöver inte vara så mycket längre.
Ja. Nej, jag känner man tröttnar på att läsa och högt lite efter 2 timmar ungefär.
Men du har ju läst det mesta, men vi får väl fördela det lite mer jämnt om det är bara dina karaktärer som kommer nästa gång.
Det är bara de som klarar sig.
Ja, min dog ju direkt.
Ja. Båda.
Båda, ja.
Nej, men han sa ingenting.
Nej, han kan ju, alltså Macke kan ju inte ens prata.
Nej.
Nej, men så det ska bli spännande att se vart de ska ta den här skiten.
Ja.
Men det blir väl lika outrageous som vanligt och märkligt.
Ja, jag antar att han, mannen i den gula hatten, kommer dyka upp nu också.
Det tror jag garanterat.
Jag är inte ett jättefan när de gör sådär. Det är det, för det var samma sak med hon Viola Cadaverini, att hon bara flög förbi lite utan att det var någon kommentar på det, och sen så bara, ja men hon är här nu.
Jo, det enda hon sa det var att vill du ha muffins eller vill du ha kaffe? Sen så tittade hon märkligt på oss.
Ja.
Och sen var det hon som var mördaren, tydligen. Men ja.
Jag är inte ett jättefan av den grejen när det bara
flimrar
förbi någon i 2 sekunder. Bara, jaha, vem var det då?
Nej, man vill ju kunna lösa det här skiten själv. Annars är det bara lite billigt.
De är lite lata när de länkar in karaktärer, så tycker jag.
Ja, och sen bara visar dem i några sekunder och sen bara, aha, det här var mördaren. Okej, men hur hade man kunnat lista ut det? Det är billiga poäng, tycker jag. Men ja, nu ska jag bara städa lite här. Men vi får väl se när vi spelar nästa i alla fall.
Ja.
Men ha det gött allihopa. Så hörs vi.
Ha det. Hej.